I'm going to show you how to do this. This is free motion quilting with rulers. Looks a bit daunting, but it's very, very easy, believe me. It's lots of different coloured pink thread just on a plain cream fabric. So let's get going with quilting with rulers on a regular sewing machine. I'm going to show you how to change a plain piece of fabric, plain white fabric like this, and you can use some free motion quilting to make it look really unique and unusual. So you're going to need basically 17 inches by 17 inches piece of fabric plus 17 inches by 17 inches piece of batten piece. So you're just going to make this like you would make a quilt. So you're going to make a quilt sandwich out of these two fabrics. I would suggest that you use something really plain, because we are going to make our thread pop out. The thread is going to be the major player of this particular piece, because we're going to be doing free motion quilting on top of here. This next bit I am going to use a friction pen, and these friction pens are really good because they will iron out and they don't come back. I have experimented with this and I've place these outside in a very cold temperature, because we get very cold temperatures here in Alberta, and these lines didn't come back, or should I say the pen didn't come back. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to be completely random, and I'm just going to draw some guidelines here for myself, and they basically are going to be triangles all over this piece of fabric. Now I don't care about this pen mark because it is going to disappear. So I'm kind of wanting to do random triangles in different locations. So this would be a point here, and then this would be a point, and I'm just going to do another, I'm going to do another triangle like this way. There. And then I kind of want to close this off a little bit. And these are just guidelines for myself for when I go in later on with the sewing machine. So I want another triangle coming in from this angle here. Go in here. Like there's a skinny one. This kind of comes into point, this kind of comes into point. So you kind of want to make different shapes all over it. It really doesn't matter. It looks better if it's kind of messy looking. And I'm going to take this over to the sewing machine. We're going to be working with the Baby Lock Soprano, and at this point we do have our quilt sandwiched together. So we have the top, we have the batting, and we also have the backing. And this can be later changed into a pillowcase if I want to. I'm going to take my current foot off, and I'm going to place my ruler foot on. There we go. I have white in my bobbin case, and I have the closed foot on my machine. This is a ruler foot for my sewing machine, and I need to drop these feed dogs down because we are free motion quilting. So I'm going to go to the back of my machine and I'm going to drop these feed dogs. So in the top of my machine I'm going to have pink thread, and I'm going to have loads of different pink threads going because that is what's going to make my cushion. And also it doesn't really matter what your stitch length or width is, because you are going to be controlling that with your free motion quilting. So your hand movements are going to be controlling how fast and slow your fabric is going, and your needle going up and down. They both kind of need to match the speed. Now, I can tell you what my speed settings are, but you're going to find that you need to find your own speed settings. So you're going to have to practice to find this out. I find it best if I have it all the way to the top, and then I just press my presser foot down, and I prefer the needle to go fast because my hand movements move fast. So you need to figure that out, and you will become much better at free motion quilting. Your ruler can't just be any ruler, it has to match whatever kind of shank your sewing machine is. And mine is a low shank, so I need the low shank rulers to go with them, because you don't want that ruler to bounce higher over onto the top, so you want to be kind of careful there. Now I'm going to follow this existing line all the way down here, and I have placed my needle right into the point of that corner of my diamond, and I am going to try best to follow this line here, and then once we have finished that line, we're then going to move it kind of like in a bit, and then do another line going parallel in. It is like one of the easiest things that you can do with free motion quilting is to actually do the free motion quilting with rulers. It just gives you a bit more of a guide rather than having to do that stipple or that meander, because some people may struggle with that. I find that working with rulers is definitely a great beginner way of doing free motion quilting. So I am going to follow this line all the way down. If you have a baby lock soprano like myself, you may need to change the setting to free motion quilting in your settings on your machine, because I found that it was too stiff and didn't want to move at first, and once I changed that to free motion quilting on, then it did move. But just make sure that you change that setting back once you finish doing your free motion quilting work. So I'm just going to go all the way down here. Another good thing is to reposition your hands and reposition your ruler as you go. So here are my first stitches in place. I will now put the needle back in to that center location there, and it's up to you. You can, it's not really a guide. I'm just going to eyeball where I want my next stitches to be, because they're going to kind of be in a diagonal fashion like that. So there's no real locations other than if you did want them to be dead perfect, like lines apart, I would go back in and I would do that with the friction pen again, but I am just going to do it all eyeballed and all just free. So once again, I've dropped my needle down into that center location, and I'm just going to have a line come off. And if you find it's going a bit too far off than you would like, then don't stitch, keep stitching, just stop and then just change your movements just a little bit and go all the way down. I'm just going to show this to you. So there you go, there's the next line, and I'm just going to do another line, and if it ends up being too far apart, I'll just adjust the ruler as I go, and you can just keep making some straight perfect lines. You can see how this is really easy when you use a straight ruler with your free motion quilting work. So I'm going to get on and do this one triangle, and you can see what it looks like. So I just want you to see what I've done here. I have not aimed for any sort of perfection by no means, and I haven't like made them equal apart, but it still looks effective. It still looks good. The lines are straight, and I've used a ruler, and it looks very unusual and unique. Don't worry about getting things too perfect and looking like spot on, like a machine's done it. This is totally unique and totally just free motion, and this is something that you've done, and I think it looks absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to select another pink here, and I'm going to come in here with these triangles, and I'm going to show you what this looks like after each triangle, and you can see how it's going to look so unique and so different and awesome, and you're going to want to try this. And it's a great introduction in working with rulers because you're just using just a little bit here. Don't forget to subscribe with my videos, by the way. I have over 300 videos on my channel, all sewing and quilting related, and I think you'll find them very helpful in learning how to sew and quilt. So I'm going to get on with this next triangle here with another pink and work with the rulers to stitch this free motion quilt in. So this is what it looks like so far. Your ruler kind of becomes like an addition of your hand. So you want to have your ruler underneath your hand, and as you're pushing the fabric up, you're holding the ruler up with it. That's the best way I can describe it. So now I'm going to tackle this bit here, and I actually took it off my sewing machine and I just flattened it all out because I noticed that I was going to get a little bit of a lump if I hadn't have done. So just take it off your sewing machine and just make sure that you press everything all back out again. And I'm going to start here. So this is the next triangle that I did, and it's a great way of showcasing how light threads show up differently than darker threads once they are quilted. They give a different texture and obviously show a different colour. So now I'm going to work on this space here. This is my next triangle that's all done, and you definitely want to go from the centre out. So I went from this side, and I'm always working from the centre, so I am going to take this triangle here and I'm going to do this one next, and I'm also doing like light pink, dark pink, light pink, dark pink as well. So let's work on doing this free motion quilting with ruler work section here. So I'm going to take this next triangle section here, and once again just make sure that you just press that all out and nothing is bunching up. So I've got these last two triangles to finish. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll be back and I will show you what it looks like when it's all complete. This is what it looks like once it's complete, and obviously my work is going to look a bit different to your work, and then you could come in and probably do the Derwent fabric pencils in here. That would be really cool to actually go in and paint in, or you could add beads, or you could add some sequins. You could do whatever you like, really. This is probably going to be turned into a cushion, but not right now. That'll be for another tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe, like and comment down below. Let me know what you think of this. Do you think it looks rather unique? Do you think it looks different? Are you going to attempt it? I think it looks fantastic. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, bye.